We are going to make America great again.
We must act decisively and with unity.
Somewhere beneath the Strait of Hormuz, buried deep in the silt along the seafloor, lies a steel cylinder roughly 3 feet long. No radar can see it. No satellite can find it. It gives off no signal, no heat, no sound. It simply waits. Inside that cylinder is a hydrophone sensor, listening for the acoustic signature of a propeller. And when a ship, any ship, enters its activation range, the sensor classifies the signal. Then, in less than 2 seconds, a solid fuel rocket motor launches a 308-pound warhead upward through the water column at 260 feet per second, tearing into the hull from directly below. That is the EM-52. China designed it, Iran bought it, and right now it sits beneath the strait that carries 20% of the world's crude oil. But the EM-52 is only one danger in the water. Iran is estimated to maintain between 5,000 and 6,000 naval mines, the largest mine inventory in the region. Moored mines, bottom mines, drifting mines, influence mines. Some of them cost less than $1,500 each, cheaper than a used jet ski. In 1988, a single M08 mine, the predecessor to the Sadaf 02 that Iran now produces domestically, detonated beneath the frigate USS Samuel B. Roberts. That mine cost $1,500. The blast ripped a hole 15 to 25 feet wide through the hull, broke the keel, and flooded 2 engine rooms with seawater before the crew could even react. 10 sailors were wounded. 4 suffered burns severe enough that they had to be evacuated to a military hospital in Germany. It took 13 months and $89.5 million to rebuild the ship. A weapon cheaper than a used jet ski nearly sent a U.S. warship to the bottom of the Persian Gulf. Now imagine that same mine beneath a supertanker carrying 2 million barrels of crude oil. The math gets much worse. The United States Navy possesses technology that no other navy on Earth has. Airborne laser mine detection from helicopters, unmanned robotic surface vessels hunting with sonar, precision kill drones that destroy mines one by one, all of it operated remotely. Not a single sailor has to enter the water. So why is Hormuz still closed? Why are the mines still sitting there? Not because the Navy cannot clear them, because the Navy is solving an equation with 3 variables. And until all 3 variables converge, those mines stay exactly where they are. If that equation interests you, subscribe to Navy Army Had. We do not clear headlines, we clear minefields. To understand why the world's most advanced mine hunting technology is sitting unused while Hormuz bleeds the global economy, we first need to understand the weapon it was built to defeat. Because naval mines are not just old, they are perfect. Naval mines operate on a principle that makes them fundamentally different from every other weapon in modern warfare. They are passive. A cruise missile reflects radar, a drone emits heat, a submarine generates acoustic noise, but a mine resting on the seafloor emits nothing, no signal, no energy, nothing. It is invisible to every active detection system a warship carries because there is nothing to detect. It is the ultimate set and forget weapon, and the cost arithmetic is brutal. One M08 contact mine, $2,500. One Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, $2 billion. That is a cost exchange ratio of 1 to 1.3 million. No weapon in the history of warfare offers that level of asymmetry. A steel shell packed with explosives, invented during the American Civil War, still delivers the most lopsided cost ratio in modern combat. Now add geography. The Strait of Hormuz is 21 nautical miles wide, but the traffic separation scheme funnels shipping into 2 navigable lanes, 2 nautical miles inbound, 2 nautical miles outbound, separated by a 2 nautical mile buffer, 6 nautical miles total. Iran does not need to mine the entire strait. Iran only needs to mine a ribbon 2 nautical miles across. And here is the final variable that makes mines uniquely dangerous. They are an insurance weapon. One tanker strikes a mine. The hull is breached. 2 million barrels of crude ignite in the shipping corridor. Lloyd's of London revokes war risk coverage for the strait. Every tanker operator on Earth pulls its vessels. Hormuz does not close by military force. It closes by market force. The mine does not sink a fleet. The mine sinks an insurance policy. And the strait closes not through fire, but through fear. Fear only needs one example. Iran has deployed 3 types of mines at Hormuz. Each solves a different problem. Each requires a different solution. The first is the contact mine. The Sadaf 02, Iran's copy of the Soviet M08, is a steel sphere packed with more than 100 kilograms of explosive, tethered to an anchor and floating just below the surface. The moment a hull touches its protruding horns, the fuse fires. It is the same class of weapon that nearly sank USS Samuel B. Roberts, essentially unchanged in 40 years. It does not need to evolve. It already works. The second is the bottom influence mine. It sits on the seafloor and detonates without physical contact. It uses 3 sensors: a magnetometer that detects the magnetic field of a steel hull, a hydrophone that listens for propeller noise, and a pressure sensor that measures the displacement of a passing vessel. It can be programmed to fire only when all 3 signatures match a large ship, filtering out small craft and waiting for the high-value target. Patient, selective, smart. The third, the EM-52 we described earlier, is the most dangerous of all. It is a rocket-propelled rising mine that shoots upward at 260 feet per second. You cannot armor effectively against a weapon that attacks from underneath at rocket speed, and you cannot detect it until the moment it fires. Contact mines that kill on touch. Influence mines that kill on signature. Rising mines that kill on rocket power. 5,000 to 6,000 of them. And every navy in the world still clears them the old way. Divers in the water, fiberglass ships inside the minefield. The United States Navy decided to build something completely different. Instead of sending sailors into the minefield, the Navy engineered 4 unmanned systems, each designed to solve one step of the clearance problem. Together, they can detect, hunt, trick, and destroy mines without a single human being entering the water. No other fleet on Earth has anything like it. For most of naval history, mine clearance has been the most dangerous job in any fleet. Traditional mine sweeping requires purpose-built vessels with wooden or fiberglass hulls because a steel hull creates the same magnetic signature that can trigger influence mines. On those ships, explosive ordnance disposal divers suit up, enter the water, swim into a live minefield, locate mines by hand or with handheld sonar, attach demolition charges, swim away, and then detonate one mine at a time in murky water they cannot see through, right beside a weapon designed to kill whatever comes near it. Every major navy on Earth still does this. Japan, South Korea, France, the Royal Navy, divers in the water, fiberglass ships in the minefield, human beings solving the equation with their own bodies. The United States Navy made a different choice. Build a system where no sailor ever has to enter a minefield again. And they built 4 systems, each solving one part of the mine clearance problem, all capable of operating without a human being in the water. The first system is called ALMDS, the Airborne Laser Mine Detection System, ANAES-1, built by Northrop Grumman and mounted in a pod beneath an MH-60S Seahawk helicopter. The system fires pulses of laser light, LiDAR, light detection, and ranging downward into the water. The laser penetrates the surface and reflects off objects in the near-surface water column. A streak tube receiver captures the reflected photons and processes them into a 3-dimensional map of everything below the surface, including mines. The computer handles thousands of returns every second, building a volumetric image of the water as the helicopter flies overhead, day or night, without hovering, without lowering anything into the sea. Think of it as a CT scan for the strait. The helicopter passes overhead, and the laser maps every mine-shaped object in the water column without ever touching the surface. But a CT scan only tells you where the problem is. It does not solve it. And there is a second limitation. Laser light does not reach the seafloor. Moored mines near the surface can be found, but bottom mines sitting in mud 40 feet down remain invisible. For those, you need something else. ALMDS finds mines near the surface, but bottom mines sitting on the seafloor below the reach of laser light require sonar. That is where the AN-AQS-20C mine hunting sonar comes in, towed by the Common Unmanned Surface Vehicle, or CUSV, built by Textron. The CUSV is an unmanned boat, no crew aboard, controlled by a single operator from an LCS standing safely at a distance. It enters the minefield alone, towing the sonar body behind it on a cable. Side scan mode paints a broad image of the seafloor. Forward look mode projects ahead. Signal processing algorithms separate mines from rocks and coral based on shape, size, and acoustic reflectivity. The CUSV can operate continuously for 20 hours or more. No human can maintain that level of focus for that long. No human sits inside. The LCS never has to enter the minefield. But finding mines is not enough. Influence mines, the smart ones, must be tricked into detonating. The Navy solution is the unmanned influence sweep system. The CUSV tows a magnetic sweep cable and an acoustic generator. Together, they simulate the signature of a supertanker displacing 300,000 tons. Magnetic field, propeller noise, hull cavitation. The influence mine on the seafloor detects the signal. Its three triggers align. The mine detonates. But there is no ship above it. Nothing is there except a cable and a sound generator being pulled by a robotic boat. The mine destroys itself against a target that never existed. A reverse mousetrap. The robot lures the mine into killing itself. Every influence mine that detonates is one fewer mine left in the water. Unlike a diver, the sweep system can run the same corridor again and again without risk. Then there is the fourth system, the one that deals with the mine that refuses to fire against a decoy. That system is AQS-235, built by RTX and deployed from the same MH-60S Seahawk that carries the laser. For those stubborn mines, the Navy sends Archerfish, a small expendable underwater drone lowered on a fiber optic cable. It carries sonar, a camera, and a light. The operator inside the helicopter sees live video in real time. The drone swims toward the mine. The camera confirms the target. The operator presses a button. A shaped charge detonates, focusing explosive energy into a directed jet that destroys the mine. One mine eliminated. Deploy another Archerfish. Repeat. No diver, no risk. One operator, one button, 4 systems, 4 steps. Find with laser, scan with robotic sonar, detonate with acoustic decoy, kill with precision drone. The entire mine clearance chain, from detection to destruction, can be executed without a single sailor entering the water. No other Navy on Earth has all 4 of these capabilities integrated into one deployable package. So the technology works, the systems exist, the capability is real. And this is exactly where every other channel would end the video. But this is Navy Army had. And the real question is not how the Navy clears mines. The real question is why they have not done it yet. The answer comes down to 3 variables that most analysts completely miss. If the technology exists, if the laser can fly, the robot can scan, the decoy can detonate, and the drone can kill, then why are the mines still there? Why is Hormuz still closed? Why are 150 tankers anchored outside the strait, bleeding fuel costs, while the most advanced mine hunting systems in the world sit on the decks of ships that still have not entered the minefield? Because the Navy does not solve headlines. The Navy solves equations. And this equation has 3 variables that must converge before the solution becomes optimal. Variable 1, if you begin sweeping mines while Iran is still manufacturing and laying new ones, you are mopping the floor while the faucet is still running. You clear 100. They lay 200. The corridor never opens. The operation never ends. So the Navy shut off the faucet first. Operation Epic Fury has already destroyed 26 Iranian mine-laying vessels. 16 were intercepted at sea, and 10 more were destroyed at their berths. In total, 90 or more Iranian naval vessels have been destroyed or disabled. Mine storage facilities on Karg Island were obliterated on March 13th. Mine production facilities deep inside Iran were struck by bomber forces. CENTCOM has confirmed continued strikes against mine depots and manufacturing sites. The result is simple. The mines currently on the seafloor of the Strait of Hormuz are the last mines Iran will ever deploy. Every mine that gets cleared is one that will never be replaced. No new mines are being built. No ships remain to lay them. No storage depots hold reserves. The faucet is off. The floor is finally ready to be mopped. Variable 2. The LCS mine countermeasure ships, USS Tulsa and USS Santa Barbara, carry the most advanced mine hunting technology in the world. but they do not carry heavy self-defense weapons. An LCS inside a minefield is focused entirely on sweeping. It becomes slow, predictable, vulnerable to the exact threats that still exist around Hormuz: mobile anti-ship missile launchers hidden inside mountain tunnels, surviving fast attack craft staged in coastal coves, and Ghadir-class submarines lurking in shallow water. Sweeping mines requires a protective bubble, fighter aircraft overhead, destroyers screening the flanks, Marines providing close-in surface defense. That protective bubble has a name: USS Tripoli, LHA-7, carrying up to 20 F-35B stealth fighters and 2,500 Marines of the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit. As we explained in our previous breakdown, Tripoli is the answer to the remaining 10% of the problem, the part that carriers cannot solve from standoff distance. Tripoli departed the Western Pacific and is now transiting at high speed toward the Middle East. Estimated arrival, roughly 10 days. Mine clearance does not begin until that protective bubble is in place, not before. Variable 3, this is the one most people miss. Hormuz is not fully sealed. A small number of ships still transit on any given day, down from the normal average of 77. But the mines do not check the nationality of the ship passing overhead. The same mines terrorizing commercial tankers are also terrorizing Iranian oil exports. Iran normally exports 1.4 million barrels per day, nearly all of it through Hormuz. Since the mines were laid, Iranian crude loadings at Karg have collapsed. Tanker operators will not send ships into a strait where the insurance premium alone is higher than the profit margin on the cargo. Iran built a weapon to close the strait to everyone else. Instead, it closed the strait to itself. The mines have become an economic siege, and they are working for the Navy without a single additional shot being fired. Every day those mines remain on the seafloor, Iran bleeds revenue it will never recover. And when all three variables converge, when the faucet is shut off, when the protective roof is in place, and when the economic pressure has reached its maximum effect, the Navy will clear the Strait of Hormuz with lasers, with robots, with drones, on American terms and on American timing. Not because anyone demanded it, but because the equation reached its optimum. If this breakdown changed the way you understand what is happening at Hormuz, subscribe to Navy Army HAD, because this is how the story ends. The EM-52 still sits on the floor of the Strait of Hormuz. It still waits. It still listens. It is still ready to fire its rocket upward at 260 feet per second into the hull of anything that passes above. 38 years ago, a $2,500 mine tore through the hull of USS Samuel B. Roberts, broke its keel, and wounded 10 sailors. The Navy looked at that equation and made a decision. Never again. Never again would sailors be forced to solve the cheapest weapon in warfare with the most expensive asset the Navy has: human life. Instead, laser from the sky, robotic sonar beneath the surface, acoustic decoys that lure mines into self-destruction, precision drones that kill with shaped charges. 4 systems, 4 steps, 0 sailors required in the water. And when will it happen? When the faucet is shut, and it is. When the roof arrives, and it is coming. When the equation becomes optimal, and every extra day those mines remain in place, Iran loses another 1.4 million barrels it will never recover. Naval mines are the cheapest, oldest, and most dangerous weapons in maritime warfare. A $1,500 mine can close a strait through which 20% of the world's oil flows. But every mine can only fire once. And when the factory that built it has been turned to ash, the last mine lying on the floor of Hormuz becomes the last mine Iran will ever have.